It's about becoming someone you're proud to be. And that journey, it starts from within, and it can start today. Have you ever felt like you were meant to live deeper, better, but somehow got caught in the rush, the noise, and the expectations of others? Today's world measures your worth by achievements, attention, appearance, and approval. But true value isn't about what others see. It's about how you live when no one's watching. A high-value person is not someone perfect. They're someone who's willing to face themselves, commit to growth, know what truly matters, and have the courage to live by it, even when no one applauds. This video isn't about becoming better than others. Modern society normalizes living on autopilot, and most don't even realize it. In today's world of endless noise, it's easy to fall into patterns that feel normal but slowly drain your potential. Social media drama, toxic debates, passive scrolling, and living without intention have become so common that they no longer raise red flags. But high-value individuals don't settle for this default mode of existence. They don't trade authenticity for acceptance. Instead of blending in just to be seen, they choose to step away from the crowd, not to stand out, but to live with clarity, depth, and intention. A high-value life isn't about being louder than others. It's about being deeply in tune with who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going, even if that means walking a quieter, more focused path. High-value people are always reinventing themselves. Average minds ask, "What am I doing wrong?" But high-value individuals ask, "What can I do better?" They see themselves as their most important project, one they're committed to building every single day, one step at a time. No one is born high-value. That identity is earned through deliberate choices to grow, even when no one is watching. They don't wait for permission, praise, or recognition. Instead, they look inward, identify blind spots, challenge their old patterns, and set clear intentions for the future. And when necessary, they're not afraid to start over, not because they've failed, but because they believe in becoming something greater. They don't learn to impress others or grow to prove a point. They evolve because they refuse to betray their potential. Progress doesn't need to be loud. If you're improving, even 1%, compared to who you were yesterday, then you're already on the path to becoming a high-value human being. True worth doesn't come from recognition. It comes from knowing who you are. In a world obsessed with validation, it's easy to tie your worth to likes, followers, or praise. But high-value people don't live to be approved by the crowd. They don't need the spotlight to know they're on the right path. They understand that when you let others define your worth, they can just as easily take it away. That's why high-value individuals choose to build their identity from within. They know who they are, what they stand for, and what truly matters to them, whether the world agrees or not. And that's the greatest freedom of all, to be yourself without needing permission. When you stop depending on recognition to believe in your value, rejection no longer has power over you. High-value people carry qualities that set them apart and keep them grounded. They don't stand out because they seek attention. They stand out because they're centered, calm, and consistent in who they are, no matter the chaos around them. Some of the most recognizable traits they embody: emotional maturity. They don't let emotions hijack their actions. They know when to speak, when to stay silent, and how to process rather than react. Kindness with boundaries. They lead with compassion, but they don't let others walk over them. A hunger to grow. They are lifelong learners, always improving their thinking, skills, and awareness. Purpose-driven living. They don't drift through life. Every action connects to a deeper value or long-term goal. Free from gossip, comparison, or envy. Healthy self-love. They care for their bodies, their mental peace, and never trade their dignity for approval. These traits don't just make them admirable. They make them quiet role models for everyone around them. Being high value doesn't mean being distant or superior. A high-value person isn't someone who isolates themselves or constantly tries to prove they don't need anyone. On the contrary, They deeply understand that healthy human connection is essential to a meaningful life. They are self-reliant, yes, but they also know when to receive help, love, and support. They don't see needing others as weakness. They're strong because they know when to give and when to open themselves up to receive. High-value people don't seek to overpower others. They don't compare to win, they compare to learn. They're not independent to the point of being cold. Instead, they hold a graceful balance between personal strength and emotional openness. And that quiet humility, the confidence that doesn't need to be loud, is the clearest proof of true inner worth. High-value people don't act on impulse, they act with intention. The biggest difference between someone of high value and someone driven by instinct is the ability to pause and choose instead of simply reacting. Those led by impulse are quick to anger, quick to judge, and drawn to what's easy and familiar. They react because emotions pull the strings, not because they've thought it through. In contrast, high-value individuals create space between emotion and action. They might feel anger, sadness, or frustration, but they don't let those emotions define who they are or how they show up. They also don't waste energy on things they can't control, like gossip, negativity, comparison, or resentment. Instead of asking, "What is everyone else doing?" they ask, "Who do I want to become?" They don't live to react, they live to respond with purpose. High-value people build, they don't cling. They don't hold on to relationships that no longer align with who they're becoming, not out of coldness or pride, but because they understand that growth sometimes requires letting go. High-value individuals never beg, manipulate, or overextend themselves just to keep someone in their life. They believe that genuine connections stay because of alignment, not force. They don't maintain relationships out of guilt, fear of loneliness, or shared history. Instead, they ask, "Does this person still reflect my values? Does their presence help me grow or drain me?" And when they find people who truly align with their journey, they nurture those bonds with care, depth, and integrity. High-value people don't chase, they cultivate. When high-value people move at their own rhythm, not the world's rush. In a society that glorifies hustle and urgency, many believe that doing more, faster, means you matter more. But high-value individuals aren't hypnotized by speed. They choose deep balance between effort and rest, pursuit and presence. They tend to their body, mind, and spirit with intention. They rise early, not to show off productivity, but to protect the peace of their mornings. They work out not for aesthetics, but for sustained energy. They eat well because they understand that their body is the vehicle for their vision. They read, journal, and spend time in solitude, not to escape the world, but to reconnect with themselves. Most importantly, they don't use busyness to numb emotions. They don't sacrifice health, connection, or rest just to hit another milestone. Their growth isn't rushed, but it's steady, grounded, and real. Value isn't found in perfection, it's built through consistent growth. No one is born self-aware, grounded, or perfectly clear on their path. We all start from different places, but high-value individuals don't stay stuck at the starting line. They don't wait to feel perfect before they feel worthy. Instead, they commit to showing up for themselves daily, even if the progress is just 1%. They understand that growth doesn't come in leaps, it comes in small, quiet shifts. A new habit, a hard no, an early morning, a softer response. They don't pressure themselves to succeed overnight. They stay patient and loyal to their process, knowing steady steps will take them farther than rushing ever could. Above all, they never stop learning, because they know, as long as you're learning, you're still rising. High-value people speak to themselves with respect. No one walks through your entire life with you, except you. That's why it's not what the world says about you that matters most, but what you say to yourself every day. High-value individuals know that their mindset is the foundation of everything. They don't let negative voices, whether from others or within, define their worth. Instead, they train their inner voice to speak powerfully and kindly. They feed themselves words that make them stronger, more grounded, and more resilient. They affirm their value with belief, not with doubt. Each day, they remind themselves, I deserve a life of meaning and quality. I'm on a journey, and I'm patient with my process. I don't need to be like anyone else, I just need to be true to who I am. And from these quiet affirmations, they build an inner world no one can shake. You don't have to change everything overnight. You just need to make one decision today. Treat yourself like someone who matters. Take small, intentional steps. Live with purpose. Learn to love yourself without conditions. That's how you build a life of true strength and quiet confidence. If this video spoke to you, leave a comment and share your journey. And if you're ready to keep growing with us, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started. You are worthy of a deep, meaningful life, and it all begins with you.